Art is not something that is in addition to what we need or do. It is not something that's trite or unimportant. Art is what makes us human. You think about a football game. If you think about a football game without art, take off your logo jersey. Look out on the field and take off the uniforms. Put the band away. Do you see what I see? There's no music, there's no announcers, there's no sound, there's no trophies, there's no awards. It's nothing. That's what art is. That's what art gives us.
I believe it is indeed our Tony Award, but for us this is about lives and being enriched by our art form, about celebrating who we are and what we do, and making it a truly inclusive society. I don't know how to express the fact that maybe it's just incredibly important for anybody that'll see this or attend this or hear about the Governor's Award to know the depth of gratitude that we feel, that this award is not a one-day event in May, that this is something that brings to our theater and our teachers and our artists an enormous sense of validation that the work we're doing is being recognized and hopefully imitated in the community.
Governor's Award is an extreme recognition, which I guess I'm astounded and pleased. There was no ifs, ands, and buts. I was going to be nominated, which I thought was wonderful. Whether I would win the award, I had no idea. But learning that I had won the award, I walk a little taller. There's a little bounce in my step. So I guess it's been a very good thing.
This award is not only recognition of the outstanding work that our artists do on a continuous basis. This award says that our peers, our colleagues, and individuals within the state of Ohio are really happy and excited about the accomplishments of this phenomenal dance company coming out of the Midwest. It is a part of not only the state of Ohio, but it is a part of what we think is the best in arts and culture today.
Hello, I'm Donna Collins, Executive Director of the Ohio Arts Council, your state agency for arts and culture. As a state agency, something we're very proud of is that we fund and support the arts in all of Ohio's 88 counties. It's been a long, many months living through a pandemic, and I'm so thankful for the artists and arts organizations who continue to fill our souls by bringing dance, music, theater, literature, and visual arts to us virtually and of late in small gatherings. We know it hasn't been easy, and we've been proud to offer financial and human support through the state and federal public funding for the arts. Welcome to our first ever virtual celebration of the Governor's Awards for the Arts in Ohio. It's fabulous to be able to celebrate our 2020 Governor's Awards winners and the outstanding contributions they have made to our state. As we begin, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge Ohio's leadership, Ohio Governor Mike DeWine and our First Lady Fran DeWine, Ohio Lieutenant Governor John Husted and Second Lady Tina Husted, our state representatives and state senators in the Ohio General Assembly, led by House Speaker Robert Cupp and Senate President Matt Huffman. And lastly, all the public officials who work in state and local government, cities and towns, big and small. Working together, our elected officials join us to ensure the arts are part of every Ohio community, and we send our thanks and appreciation for that enduring support. I'd also like to acknowledge the leadership of the Ohio Arts Council's board, led by Chair Ginger Warner and Vice Chair Jim Dickey. This 15-member body provides leadership and voice for the arts. We thank all of you for your governance and volunteer board service. At the Ohio Arts Council, we're especially thankful to our governor and our legislators for their continued investment in Ohio's creative sector. This investment has paid off in a big way. Research from Bowling Green State University shows the creative industries support nearly 290,000 jobs and contribute $41 billion to the Ohio economy. That's a serious investment. And it makes a big difference in small towns, large cities, and everywhere in between. We know 2020 and the start of 2021 have been hard years for so many of us in Ohio. More than 18,000 Ohioans have lost their lives to COVID-19. Many have lost family members, friends, and colleagues. Some have lost jobs and health care. Issues of addiction and anxiety have worsened. Social distancing is critical, but it can feel isolating. Artists and arts organizations in particular have struggled. But the arts can and do heal us. They help us cope, and the people we serve know this too. Despite sacrificing their economic livelihoods, many artists and arts presenters found ways to innovate and pivot in the face of the pandemic. They offered their work online, often for free, presenting virtual workshops, converting collections into digital exhibitions, creating moments of inspiration through music and dance. Even as some nonprofits questioned their continued survival, the arts have helped Ohioans weather this storm. And I know Ohio's world-class art scene will come roaring back when it's safe, with the help of public and private support. And that's really for one simple reason. I believe in the power of the arts. I believe that our arts and cultural leaders are the smartest and most creative people in Ohio. Simply put, support for the arts is a sound investment of public dollars. It yields significant returns, particularly for Ohio. We're a creative state. The arts create jobs, improve our competitiveness, and anchor our communities. They make Ohio a great place to live, work, and raise a family. The OAC board and staff stand ready and able to fulfill our mission and help Ohio recover and heal from COVID-19, culturally, educationally, and economically. In 2020, our agency's motto was, "The arts are better when we work together," and that will always be true. For more than a year, we have looked to our state's leadership for guidance and care, from safeguarding our children and their education to implementing strategies for safe business practices. This has not been an easy job, but it has been one fully focused by the efforts of our governor. For those of you who may not know the governor, lieutenant governor, and leadership of the House and Senate, they provided $20 million in CARES Act art relief last year to nearly 300 arts organizations through the Ohio Arts Council. A true relief to those who were shuttered. Funding that saved jobs, paid rent and utilities, and ensured arts programming could continue virtually and resume in full after the pandemic. For this, Governor DeWine, we are grateful. And now I'm so pleased to welcome Ohio Governor Mike DeWine for some special remarks about the arts in Ohio.
Hello, I'm Ohio Governor Mike DeWine. It's certainly been a challenging last year. The COVID-19 pandemic has changed the way we live, the way we work, and the way we play. Unfortunately, the governor's awards for the arts had to be postponed in 2020 along with other live events and performances. But during the challenges of the past year, creativity has continued to flourish. We saw children doing porch concerts for shut-in neighbors, chalk artists creating inspirational portraits on sidewalks, and people serenading one another from balconies and through nursing home windows. In difficult times, in particular, art lifts us up with messages of hope and messages of love. Today, as the COVID-19 vaccine is being rapidly distributed throughout Ohio, Ohio is in a year of recovery. We all look forward to putting the pandemic behind us and gathering freely for concerts, plays, and other performances. I applaud the Ohio Arts Council for continuing to foster and encourage the development of the arts and for helping to preserve Ohio's cultural heritage. I want to recognize the winners of the 2020 Ohio Governor's Awards. Congratulations to each and every one of you. And thank you so very much for strengthening the arts in Ohio.
Thank you, Governor. I now have the honor of introducing the President of the Ohio Senate to present the Governor's Awards. President Matt Huffman is in his second term of office in the Senate, having previously served 4 terms in the Ohio House. He was first elected president this year, 2021. He lives in Lima in the 12th Senate District. He represents Allen, Champaign, Mercer, and Shelby counties, and parts of Auglaize, Darke, and Logan counties. Senate President Huffman will be presenting each of our award winners. So without further ado, let's get to know the Governor's Award winners.
Our first winner in the category of individual artist is Jesse Ayers. Jesse is an award-winning composer who recently retired from a distinguished 39-year career as a professor of music at Malone University in Canton. Jesse's compositions have the unique ability to captivate seasoned musicians and new audiences alike. He's best known for works that explore the intersection of the spiritual and natural worlds and the redemptive intervention of God in the affairs of human race. Jesse's music has been performed throughout the world in places like Japan, South Africa, Poland, and Portugal, and right here at home in more than 100 American cities. Jesse's talent and passion are evident in this video tribute.
Professor Emeritus of Music at Malone University, Dr. Jesse Ayers is an essential voice for music performed throughout the world. Dr. Ayers began composing in his early teens. His moving works reflect his love for music, cultivated from an early age.
When I was a little boy, our house was located in the middle of the University of Tennessee campus. Tennessee was a land-grant institution in those days, so every Thursday, all of the men at the University of Tennessee were in ROTC, and they marched by my house, company after company after company, and they had a drum and bugle corps. And I would get my toy gun and march on the sidewalk next to the big bass drum that said ROTC on it. So I have a feeling that might have had some influence on why I was drawn to percussion.
Dr. Ayers was the winner of the inaugural American Prize for Orchestral Composition in 2011 and was named an Honored Artist of the American Prize in 2014.
My primary focus as a composer is to write music that is going to touch the human heart, the human spirit in some way. So I have developed a style that I think is broadly accessible, yet has the capacity to communicate deep emotions. So many of my works have core life values as their focus, and by which I mean purpose, walking into one's destiny, having courage to do the right in the face of opposition, having faith in the face of fiery adversity.
I'm always going to advocate for Jesse as a composer and for his giving spirit and his service at Malone University. So it starts at home, it starts at Malone, and then it branches out, whether it's Akron or Dayton Ballet. I mean, universities across the country, everywhere. People are recognizing and valuing Jesse's compositions.
Composing is essentially done in solitary confinement. You lock yourself away with a pad of paper and a pencil. But when those works are finished and they are performed, it is really a glorious collaboration.
So he really encourages, he really pours himself into the classroom, into the students, and I'm just glad to be a part of that.
I enjoy organizing sound. I enjoy creating music. As I'm creating it, you begin with a blank piece of paper and sort of a foggy notion of what you want to do. The more you work on it, the more it takes shape, the more you see, oh, right here, I can go this direction and build this dramatic moment to really drive home to the audience. I really like creating those moments and hopefully, as I said earlier, to inspire the audience to think about their own life and where they may step up to the plate in their community for whatever situation is there, big or small, to say, well, why not me? Why can't I step up?
Andy Snow has also earned a Governor's Award in the category of Individual Artist. Andy has worked as a professional photographer for more than 40 years. He's a fixture in the Dayton arts community, where he's known for his artistic photographs, community involvement, and passion for visual storytelling. His work has appeared in many national magazines and newspapers. Here at home, he's noted for his project Watershed, Then and Now, which commemorates the Great Flood of 1913 in the Miami Valley of Western Ohio. Watch along with me to celebrate Andy's career and impact.
As I like to say, I don't have a job, I have a joy. And, you know, I jump out of bed every morning and go, okay, what's happening? What's going on? What's the light like outside? What can I do today?
A professional photographer and artist in Dayton, Andy Snow has been capturing life, art, and events in the community for more than 40 years. His work has appeared in Time, Newsweek, Forbes, National Geographic, Ohio Magazine, The Wall Street Journal, and the New York Times.
I love Ohio. I'm an Ohioan. Dayton is now my hometown. I've lived here longer than anywhere. And I have relatives and ancestors that settled Germantown in 1804. My great-grandmother, who I knew as a small child, Margaret Weaver, was a photographer and had her own darkroom. And I have photos of hers today. They're over 100 years old. She taught my dad, she taught my dad's sister, my beloved aunt, and they helped me learn.
If Andy wasn't there, did it really happen? You know, it's like, it did at some level, but I mean, he's at so much stuff and he's capturing so much of the life of the community that it's almost like it happened, but Andy was there to show us that it happened. I mean, there's different ways that communities get documented. I mean, there's journalistically, you know, and that's one kind of way that happens. And Andy doesn't do it as a journalist, but just sort of as an artist who lives in the community and loves it and adopted it.
Ever mindful of making photos that reveal the essence of a community, Andy has documented the construction and renovation of Dayton's metro libraries, and commemorated the Great Flood of 1913 in the Miami Valley through his historic project, Watershed, Then and Now. And while producing an exceptional body of his own personal work, Andy has also worked closely with other artists and arts organizations across West Central Ohio.
As I used to say to my students at the University of Dayton, I said, now why are the Wright brothers given credit for having the first powered flight? And the students looked kind of blank, and I said, it's because they have a photograph of it. There's a witness, there's a record, there's a document, and that's what makes them our guys, and the guys of the world, the guys that change the world. And that is the rich environment that I've been blessed to live in since 1974.
In that way, he's kind of like, he's the reminder. Journalism comes and goes really fast. You know, the kind of stuff Andy does lasts. There's more of a permanence to it because it's art.
I like it to be inspiring. I hope it's inspiring. It is about joy. It is about the good. We have plenty of news about the not so good. So why not bring images to the party to say, but look at this.
Our next Governor's Award winner in the category of Community Development and Participation is Joan Perch. Joan began her career as an arts educator and also owns several successful art galleries in downtown Cleveland. Today, she is the program developer and outreach coordinator at Lorain County Community College's Campana Center. Above all, Joan is an innovator. She is constantly finding new ways to implement cutting-edge approaches in the fields of art, technology, business, and civic and economic development. Let's learn more about how Joan harnesses the power of the arts to transform communities.
I was started out as an art teacher, and I think the whole idea of education and connecting with students and teaching about the importance of art and artists and communities has always been really important to me. I wasn't really ever thinking that I would travel down the path that I ended up traveling down.
A fierce, tireless, and compassionate advocate for the arts, Joan Perch has dedicated both her career and her personal life to improving her community through the arts.
I've never met anyone like her. She is tops. She's outstanding. The relationship that she has with artists is warm, supportive, creative. The network that she's created is phenomenal, unlike any other I've ever seen. And the energy and passion that she brings to what she does is unprecedented in my experience.
Joan sees art as an economic engine that can help bring hard-pressed neighborhoods back to life. She has spent more than 30 years promoting the idea that there is more to the arts in Northeast Ohio than what meets the eye at first.
When I look at Lorain right now, and I think that 5 years ago, when we were first making applications to the Ohio Arts Council for funding for the Firefish Festival, we were talking about empty streets where dust was blowing down them and garbage, and you didn't have to look both ways to cross the street. And now there's a buzz and there's a streetscape. I had the great opportunity to work beside people, and it's community art. That's where the joy is. It's in being a part of a community. It's not in being the person. And I think the really important thing is to find, if you do get to be fortunate and be in the position that I'm in and have learned along the way plenty of great lessons, is that you find great people and you let them do their thing.
The range of the projects that she sponsors is one thing that I am constantly impressed with, that I would hope that people would take away, would understand. Ranging from healing gardens to festivals to music to camps with young kids. I mean, she's kind of a one-person council of the arts, kind of, in Lorain County. Working between two worlds is a difficult thing. I mean, many writers have said that it's really not possible to merge the arts and the sciences, or the humanities and the sciences. That, you know, this divide is too large, and she kind of lives there and is able to navigate it.
I think the magic is going to be when artists continue to merge with the other people, the scientists, the mathematicians, when all of that magic keeps happening and the right tools are being used and everyone learns to communicate and respect each other, great things will happen. But I see it happening on our campus. I see it happening everywhere, and I just like to do my little piece of it, which is sometimes saying, hey, maybe you should talk to you, or how can we do this, and have some fun.
Ohio is home to many acclaimed musicians, including guitarist Jorma Kaukonen. But Ohio is more than Jorma's home. He's built community here. Jorma and his wife Vanessa founded and built the Fur Peace Ranch in Meigs County in 1989. The ranch is many things to many people. It's a music camp, a concert venue, an art gallery, and more. The ranch supports local artists, farmers, and businesses, and it's brought national recording artists to Ohio, broadcasting on the radio and internet, enriching both the culture and economy of Southeast Ohio. We're proud to recognize Jorma's work and the Fur Peace Ranch with the Governor's Award for Community Development and Participation.
The Fur Peace Ranch, conceived in 1989 by Jorma and Vanessa Kaukonen, is tucked in the rolling foothills of Southeast Ohio. The ranch serves as a concert venue, special event space, learning center, and art gallery.
Coming to Southeast Ohio was just an amazing confluence of events. In 1989, I was living in Woodstock, New York with my wife, Vanessa. I couldn't have afforded to own a garage up there where we bought the property for down here. So I had a friend that lived in Pomeroy, and he called me up out of the blue, and he offered me 126 acres for $32,000. And I came down. It was a cold winter that year. It came down to 90. And I looked at it, and I just had a good feeling about it. And so I bought the property. My wife, Vanessa, thought I'd completely lost my mind. But, you know, the Lord works in mysterious ways, and I've been there for almost 30 years.
The Fur Peace Ranch offers a music camp known as a ranch that grows guitar players. Students stay in cabins Friday through Sunday, immersing themselves in music. Campers attend small group classes with professional musicians such as Arlo Guthrie, Jack Cassidy, or Jorma Kaukonen himself, who performed with the rock band Jefferson Airplane and still performs regularly on tour with Hot Tuna.
It's way more than just what we can offer in terms of the tangible instruction and stuff like that. It creates this sort of a musical community of like-minded spirits where everybody, regardless of what age they are, or gender or whatever, everybody's just on the same sort of like cosmic page for that whatever period of time. To make the the artistic learning process unintimidating has always been our goal, and I think we're better at that than anything else.
Jorma Kaukonen's Fur Peace Ranch offers visitors from around the world a taste of Appalachian Ohio, serving home-cooked meals made from ingredients sourced from local farmers and producers in the region, and welcoming guests with heartfelt hospitality. Local artists and musicians have also found a place to showcase their talents during the ranch's annual festivals and concerts.
Are we a hidden gem? I would say so, and people are discovering us all the time. So we hope that other people will discover us as well, because we have this beautiful scene going on down there. And if you like music and good fellowship, and everything we do makes the experience very easy for you, from nice, easy parking, short walk, beautiful concert hall. It's a very nice experience. And that's what we hear from people, that strangers come that don't know anybody there, and it's like being with friends. And when people come in, we always hope they take the peace with them. You know, we take the peace serious. You know, it's our middle name.
Business support of the arts is critical, and our Governor's Award winner in this category is Nicolette Cinema Graphics. Founded by Nicolette and Matt Swift, this Columbus-based media business regularly donates its time and resources for arts nonprofits. It also conducts residencies exploring the art of filmmaking and video production. Their community involvement extends to initiatives such as the Columbus Real Abilities Film Festival, a festival dedicated to presenting award-winning films by and about people with disabilities. They truly believe in making the arts accessible for all. The following video is a testament to how Nikki and Matt Swift used their platform to support the arts in Ohio.
Nicolette Cinema Graphics, a two-person digital media business in Columbus, has been supporting the arts in multiple ways since its creation in 2006. Drawing on their extensive backgrounds in media production and film, Nicolette and Matt Swift work with organizations to provide educational and arts-based programming that is accessible to all audiences.
An important part of being able to work with these different organizations is because this kind of mentality of you know, focusing more on making sure the client is making sure the organization can get what they need, we've managed to be a lot more nimble. We can take on projects that other people can't.
And we've done everything from, you know, just standard narrative shorts to experimental pieces with projection performance and audio performance. So yeah, we'll consider anything, and if we can have it, give it a chance to have its own space, we will. definitely do it.
The most important thing for us around accessibility is accessibility for all. When you actually create a scenario where you have the opportunity to bring people of different ages, different genders, different ethnicities, different abilities, if you can bring all those people into one space, it changes the dynamic of what you're doing.
I think to support people around you or artists around you, all ships rise. Art is very important to everything around us. Supporting it makes all of us grow. I think that a company that is very myopic and doesn't think about the arts is missing out on something beautiful and larger. Last year, we were approached by VSA Ohio to do a residency at Bridgeway Academy, which is a school for people who have learning disabilities and developmental disabilities. And they wanted to make films about bullying. We had the kids working the cameras. We would focus for them and go, this is what it looks like. Here's the button that you push. And they were operating from take to take. It was so rewarding because the kids were so proud of themselves.
Nicolette Cinematographics has worked with organizations such as the Greater Columbus Arts Council, the Vanderelli Room, and the Columbus Black International Film Festival. The company also created the Columbus Moving Image Art Review, a screening event in collaboration with The Ohio State University's Film Studies program, which organizes, markets, and provides a space for more than 700 local filmmakers, animators, and video artists.
It's really important to us that we grow this whole community, especially in, the time that we live in where everything around us can divide us so easily. It's important to be able to come to the table and be able to still do the kind of work that needs to get done every day. And it's just something that we both strongly really believe in.
The Charles H. Dater Foundation makes grants to organizations in the greater Cincinnati area for projects benefiting young people in arts and culture, among many other community needs. Since its inception in 1985, the foundation has awarded grants totaling more than $51 million to approximately 400 private, nonprofit, and public agencies for an array of programs and projects. The foundation is named for Charles Hickson Dater, a Cincinnati native and U.S. Army officer in World War II. The foundation upholds the Dater family's philanthropic commitment to enriching young lives by supporting community programming and services that have a positive and lasting impact on children. Congratulations to the foundation for winning the Arts Patron Governor's Award.
Well, Charles H. Dater is a Cincinnatian, a longtime multi-generation West Side Cincinnatian, and he grew up with his father dying when he was only 17. So Charles became sort of the man of the house and took on that business acumen of his father and grandfather and became very shrewd in investing, and he also lived a very modest life. His vision for his legacy was to give back and support particularly children's charities. And so he set up, while he was alive, the Charles H. Dater Foundation and started making grants 8 years before he passed. And it's been going on since 1985.
One of the largest private foundations in Greater Cincinnati, the Dater Foundation's primary focus is to support organizations that serve young people in the areas of arts and culture, education, healthcare, social services, and other community needs. The foundation, which is entirely volunteer-run, has awarded more than 3,000 grants to organizations such as Cincinnati Playhouse in the Park, the Cincinnati Art Museum, the Children's Theater of Cincinnati, the Cincinnati Opera, and Ensemble Theater Cincinnati.
The Dater Foundation doesn't judge you on the numbers of seats. They judge you on your impact. They judge you on the difference you make. When ensemble theater was really in its infancy of an education program, the Dater Foundation came through for us. They believed in us. They had faith in a theater that had a social conscience in the worst neighborhood in the state. And that was a gesture of faith that we worked very hard then to continue to repay and build with the work that we've done.
Charles was very private, and he gave anonymously and without seeking recognition. Some of the lessons obviously is the humility and the deep care for the recipients, that it really isn't about the giver as much as it's to the givee. It's more blessed to give than to receive. So even though he didn't have children, there clearly were special to him, and particularly children who didn't grow up with the means and the resources that were available to his family.
It feels like they are genuinely a partner. I find great joy in putting their name on something, even though they never ask for that. So I would say that there's this incredible sense of what can we do to serve, what can we do to help, as opposed to how much will we get from that. But that also is something about what makes them so extraordinary. The fact that they do it for the sake of doing the right thing, as opposed to a trophy or a plaque or a news story. That's philanthropy at its heart.
We next celebrate Marshall Kimball of Marietta, winner of a Governor's Award in Arts Education. Marshall has been a driving force in music and art education at the K-12 and collegiate levels for nearly 5 decades. He began his career in 1971 at Star Washington Local Schools in Hocking County and went on to spend 26 years with Marietta City Schools. Under his leadership, the marching band was recognized as a standard of excellence regionally, statewide, and nationally. Marshall retired from Marietta College in 2019 after a 14-year tenure, but he continues to serve as an adjunct professor in the music department. As a lifelong educator, Marshall does more than instruct. He inspires. And through the years, he's inspired thousands of students, always challenging, encouraging, and raising the bar for excellence in the classroom and beyond. We can catch a glimpse of Marshall's positive impact in the following video.
I always knew I wanted to be a teacher from the time I was, probably late junior high or early high school. And I thought the way that I could impact the most lives was in the arts, in music specifically, because I would have large groups of kids. And it has gone on for 47 years, and I don't regret a minute of it.
Marshall C. Kimball has been a driving force in music and arts education for decades. Although he retired from Marietta College in 2019, the former music professor and band director continues to serve as an adjunct professor and consultant for the music department.
Marshall is all about music, he's all about education, he's all about having the light bulb go off. And we're lucky to have him in Marietta. We continue to get him engaged, get him involved. He will tell you he loves to see the sparkle in the eye of the 6, 8, 10-year-old when they put together the clarinet or the trumpet the right way.
You know, when you teach them how to put those instruments together for the first time and they put out those terrible squawks and squeaks the first time, and then when they play Mary Had a Little Lamb and their little eyes just light up and they twinkle and they're so excited.
What he's not telling you is you should see the sparkle in Marshall Kimball's eyes, that his eyes twinkle. He talks about, you know, that music often gives back more than it receives. Well, Marshall's somebody who gets back an awful lot more than he gives away, and he gives away a lot.
While teaching at Marietta College, Marshall received the Freshman Advising Award, the Innovative Teaching Award, the Douglas Putnam Outstanding Service Award, and the Harness Outstanding Educator Award. In April of 2019, he received the Lifetime Achievement in Music Award from the Ohio University School of Music.
So I think Marshall would be an advocate of every music educator to say, no, you're not in your education space. You're not in the high school. you are in your community. Enhance your community, figure out what the community is doing, talk to the mayor, talk to the city council, talk to the people about putting on programs in the summertime. And that would be, I think, a legacy of Marshall that he would tell all music educators. Embrace that community so that you can make it as big as possible.
Students will stretch, and they will learn, and they will grow when you have a belief in them and you expect them to do so. And I learn from a lot of my students even greater passion for my art. People can learn that by putting this kind of music on, my soul feels fed, my heart rate slows down, I can breathe more normally. It's just such an impactful thing.
Nigel Burgoyne is the founder and artistic director of the Ballet Theater of Toledo. Nigel is a graduate of the Royal Ballet School, and he's performed around the world in Australia, Brazil, Africa, and Europe. But what fuels Nigel most is his passion for sharing the magic of ballet with the next generation of dancers. He designs full-length productions and educational programs that inspire young dancers and confront stereotypes surrounding ballet. Nigel continues to serve as an ambassador for the arts in Ohio, constantly seeking opportunities to connect international artists and organizations with Ohio dancers and their communities. We congratulate Nigel on winning a Governor's Award in Arts Education.
Born in England, Nigel Burgoyne began dancing at the age of 4. After a prolific career performing and teaching all over the globe, Nigel came to Ohio, where he has turned his passion toward teaching aspiring dancers as founder and artistic director at the Ballet Theater of Toledo.
He makes ballet accessible so that audiences, no matter where we are, whether Toledo or throughout Northwest Ohio, we hear again and again, my children had never seen a ballet. They thought it was going to be kind of high-cultured and stiff-backed, and they had a ball. They want to dance now. They want to come back. So he's really building future artists, but also future patrons of the art and future attendees to live theater.
When I was 12 years old, I was chosen to be in Rudolf Nureyev's production of The Nutcracker at the Royal Opera House, Covent Garden. It was fantastic. We rehearsed and rehearsed, and then we got there, and I remember the opening night, these large doors opened, and as students, we all came dancing on. There was about 20 of us as party children, and that moment, as we came through the doors, as I'm saying it now, I can hear the music and I've got shivers down my spine, and that was when I was 12 years old. So that affected me from that day on. This is what I want to do with my life.
He likes to tell the story that his mom used to bring home National Geographics that were used, wrapped in twine, and he would sit and he would look at the pictures and dream of those places that were far away. And dance took him there, and he danced in almost every continent is when he was a professional dancer. He used to say that his mom would talk about him coming home with bruises and cuts as he was bullied as a young boy who wanted to do dance, and having to find the courage to not abandon that dream, but to figure out how to enhance it, how to continue it.
Education was the best thing for me. That's what I wanted to pass on to other people because I'd had that fantastic experience. Even now with my productions, I have 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 15-year-olds in the show who are loving every second. And the audience can see that, and you know, even if that child doesn't go on to be a dancer, they have taken everything from the rehearsals right through to the production, and they've really put their heart and souls into it.
Nigel has choreographed 15 ballets at the Ballet Theater of Toledo, provided scholarships to aspiring dancers, and collaborated extensively with an international network of artists to build a strong Ohio arts community.
Every single day, I learn something new in the studio. I learn something new in the theater. I have seen my students get up and dance roles I never thought they'd be able to do. Somebody once said to the great Rudolf Nureyev, you know, do you know everything? He said, no, never stop learning. Never stop learning. And I think that's the greatest thing, that I can put education into dance. I can show students another version of math, of science, of art, but it's all done through dance.
Laura Lynn Snow is the founder and executive director of the Ariel Ann Carson Dater Performing Arts Center in Gallipolis, home of the Ohio Valley Symphony. In 1987, Laura dreamed of forming a professional orchestra in Gallia County, and she found inspiration in the long-neglected Ariel Opera House, built in 1895. Laura spearheaded its restoration and organized the historic building's grand reopening in 1990. Under Laura's leadership, the Opera House now features an additional theater, conference room, and banquet room, as well as a music education program, festival, community theater group, and more. Laura's work has earned her a Governor's Award in Arts Administration. Let's watch her video.
Executive Director of the Ariel Ann Carson Dater Performing Arts Center, Laura Lynn Snow is the driving force that brings the magic of orchestral music to her Appalachian town of Gallipolis, Ohio.
In a small rural community of 5,000 people, you see orchestras in big cities. Closest orchestras we had were in Huntington and Charleston, West Virginia, larger cities. For someone to have that vision to start that type of endeavor in that type of a community takes a lot of will and fortitude and to get things done.
Nestled in the hills of southeast Ohio is the Ariel Opera House, built in 1895. The Opera House was neglected and forgotten for 25 years, until Laura, a professional musician and Gallipolis resident, entered the Ariel's doors. She immediately envisioned the hall restored as the home of the Ohio Valley Symphony, the only professional orchestra in the Ohio River Valley.
As soon as I walked through the doors, I heard the building. I heard it singing to me. The acoustics are just fabulous in there. In fact, in the development of the orchestra, we have treated the hall, the Ariel Opera House, as an instrument because it just sounds so beautiful. There's a whole large group of people that made this all possible, that came in and worked, maybe just for a day, maybe for months and years, all sorts of people that have come in and been a part of it. I knew it was very important for people to feel connected, to have that connection. When people have been in there and touched it, laid their hands on it, then they've got that sense of ownership, and I knew that they would not only help with the restoration, but they would be present and want to protect it and preserve it for the future.
She does the music programming, picks out the music. She picks the conductors. Usually in an orchestra, you have someone doing all these different parts, and I think that's what has made this orchestra so successful and different from all the other orchestras that are around us. And it allows us to do certain things that other orchestras can't do. It's one thing for certain musicians to say, oh, I like playing with this orchestra versus that orchestra. But when you have conductors from around the world that say, hey, I want to come back and conduct your symphony, that says a lot. That's a testament to the organization and how well it's ran.
I want this to be a destination orchestra. People can come from, not just locally, but come in from out of town. The parking is easy, the hall is intimate, the sound is great, and the music will thrill you.
Congratulations to all the winners, and thank you for celebrating with us today. We're especially grateful to Governor DeWine and President Huffman for their time in presenting the awards. We thank the Governor's Awards Selection Committee and our media sponsors, Spectrum, WYSO, CD 92.9, and City Scene Media Group, for their generous support. This production was also supported by our premier sponsor, Crown Lift Trucks, and by the generosity of the many table and individual ticket holders who donated their 2020 seats to our virtual event. In recognition of their achievements, Our Governor's Award winners have all received artwork by this year's award artist, Barry Underwood of Cleveland. Barry creates long exposure photographic images of self-made structures in natural landscapes. He first immerses himself in the scene, researching and reading about the terrain. He then marks the site with foreign light sources and temporary sculptures made from recyclable materials. The resulting message speaks to environmental impact and the indelible footprints centuries of human activity have carved into the natural world. His work is simply breathtaking and thought-provoking. Barry received an Ohio Arts Council Individual Excellence Award in 2008 and 2019. He has exhibited his work in a variety of contexts, including art museums, university, project spaces, and for-profit galleries throughout the United States. His work has also been reviewed in numerous print and digital publications and published in various books in the U.S. and abroad. You can learn more about Barry's work at barryunderwood.com. Last but not least, I extend our thanks to Ohio Government Telecommunications and the Ohio Channel. Our event and broadcast would simply just not be possible without them year after year. That's especially true for today's virtual celebration. Thank you for joining us to celebrate the Governor's Awards for the Arts in Ohio. We hope you're inspired and ready to make the world a better and more creative place. And remember, the arts are better when we work together.